The galaxy was silent. It was the kind of silence that came just before a storm, a silence that made every living creature feel something crawling inside their chest. Across thousands of star systems, communication lines buzzed with the same message. Unknown energy source detected at the outer rim. The Galactic Council, the most powerful political group in the galaxy, called for an emergency meeting. High lords, empresses, warlords, and ambassadors from every major race arrived in the council hall. The hall was a massive circular building floating above a golden planet called Serenos Prime. It was a place where great decisions were made, but today, fear filled the air. The council speaker, a tall, glowing being named Saraxis, stood at the center table. He raised his hand and said, "We all know why we are here. The old warning has returned." The room grew colder. Species with 6 eyes, wings, tentacles, metal skin, and crystal bodies stare at the floating hologram. A single word flashed across it. Humanity. Every member of the council went silent. For 200 years, the humans had disappeared. No one knew where they went. No one cared. The council believed humans were weak and emotional, unable to survive deep space. 2 centuries ago, the council had warned the galaxy. Humans grow fast. Their minds are too wild. One day, they will become a danger. But almost every species ignored the warning. They laughed at it. They thought humans were simple creatures with basic technology. And so, humanity faded from memory. Only old stories remained. And now, something huge had returned. The council speaker pressed a button on the table. The hologram shifted to show a massive object, bigger than any ship the council had ever seen. The object floated at the edge of the galaxy, like a sleeping titan. The speaker said, "This energy signature matches human technology, but the power level is impossible." A nervous ambassador whispered, "It looks like a moving star." Another council member added, "No, it looks like a weapon." The hologram zoomed in. The object wasn't just a ship. It was a human flagship, built with dark armor that shined like liquid night. Strange purple energy flowed around it like living smoke. A robotic counselor scanned the data again. Power level beyond our scale. Unknown energy source detected. The council chamber shook slightly as the message repeated across the systems. Human presence confirmed. A deep fear spread through the council. They remembered how humans once fought for their freedom, how they never backed away from conflict, how they turned weakness into strength. The speaker asked, "Who ignored the original warning? Who said humans were harmless?" No one answered, because they all did. For 200 years, no one prepared for this day. And now it was too late. A young soldier rushed into the chamber and shouted, "Council members, a message has arrived from the human flagship." Everyone stared at him. The soldier swallowed hard and pressed a device. A single voice echoed through the hall. A human voice. Calm, controlled, dangerous. "This is a Terran ascendancy. We are back." The room fell into complete silence. The word ascendancy was new and frightening. It meant humans were united. It meant humans had evolved. It meant humans were no longer the weak species the galaxy once ignored. The speaker asked, "Do they want peace? Trade? Negotiation?" The soldier shook his head. "No, sir. They only sent those 3 words." The council demanded answers. What do they want? Why now? What have they become? Did they find something? All questions. No answers. Then, suddenly, the lights flickered. Every screen in the chamber turned black. A new image appeared. A human commander. He stood tall, wearing a dark suit with glowing lines of purple energy. His eyes were bright silver, too bright to be natural. Something powerful lived inside him. He said, "We warned you. You never listened." A wave of cold air filled the chamber. The humans had accessed the council's secure system effortlessly. The commander continued, "We left the galaxy to grow, to learn, to evolve. You thought we were gone forever." His eyes narrowed. "You were wrong." The hologram flickered again and showed a scene from deep space. A giant gate made of pure energy opened behind the human flagship. More ships, Hundreds of them began to appear. Each one carried the same dark, terrifying power. The human commander said, "We return not to speak, but to correct." The council panicked. Some leaders shouted orders. Others froze. A few fainted. But the speaker, Zarnax, tried to remain calm. He said, "Humanity, please. The council seeks peace." The human commander stared at him, and then he laughed, softly but coldly. "Peace? You ignored us. You pushed us away. You treated us like insects." The screen switched again and showed a timeline of humanity's exile, pain, betrayal, forced retreat into the dark corners of the galaxy. The council members could not look away. The human commander finished with one final message. "We are not the humans you remember. We are something new. And now the galaxy will learn." The hologram ended, but the fear remained. Suddenly, alarms blared through the chamber. Human flagship moving. Energy levels rising. "It is charging something." The speaker shouted. "What are they doing?" A technician screamed, "Sir, they are scanning us." Everyone froze. The skin swept across Serenos Prime like a dark wave. Every ship, every defense system, every weapon turned off instantly. The entire planet was powerless. The humans had shut down everything in seconds. The technician whispered, "They just disabled us with a single scan. This is impossible." The speaker whispered, "No, this is humanity." And then the message appeared again, across every device in the galaxy. Phase 1, begin. The chamber shook. The floor vibrated. Something massive was happening in space. The humans had returned, not as explorers, not as refugees, not as victims, but as a power the galaxy could not understand. The council speaker slowly sat down, unable to breathe. He whispered the words everyone feared. "The warning has come true." And that was the moment the galaxy realized. Humanity wanted something. Something big. Something unstoppable. Something terrifying. These words continued to echo inside the Galactic Council Hall, long after the human signal disappeared. The room felt colder, as if someone had opened a door into deep space. Every member stared at the dark projection screen, afraid to speak, afraid to move, afraid to even breathe too loudly. The speaker, Zarnax, finally whispered, "What is Phase 1? No one replied. No one knew. Outside the hall, the skies above Serenos Prime turned dark as the human flagship repositioned itself. Even from the planet's surface, it looked like a black sun, a floating shadow that blocked the stars. Its armor shimmered with strange purple lines that moved like living veins. The energy around it kept growing stronger. Too strong. Too unnatural. A council guard shouted into his headset, "Our weapons are still offline. Our entire defense grid is dead." Technicians worked frantically, tapping buttons, pulling cables, activating backup systems. Nothing responded. It was like every machine on the planet had fallen asleep. Humans, they did this with only a scan. A frightened ambassador whispered, "What have they become?" Before anyone could answer, another alert flashed across the hall. New objects detected behind the human flagship. Everyone turned toward the hologram as multiple gates opened in space. They looked like giant rings made of black and purple lightning. Through each gate, a new human ship appeared. Sleek, powerful, silent. Dozens, then hundreds. The fleet grew so large that the sky above the planet turned completely dark. Zarnax felt his heart sink. This is an invasion force. A council general shouted back, "But they are not firing. They are waiting." Why are they waiting? Because humans never rushed. They never attacked without planning. They never acted without purpose. This made the situation even more terrifying. One of the older council members finally stepped forward. His body was made of white stone and glowing cracks. He said, "Speaker, humanity does not want to destroy us immediately. They are showing us their power. They want us to fear them." "And we do," Zarnax whispered. The entire hall trembled as a pulse of energy moved through space. The large hologram flickered before stabilizing again. A small drone appeared near the human flagship. It projected a human symbol into space. An eagle made a silver light, with wings spreading across the stars. The symbol slowly rotated for every planet to see. This was not just a return. It was a declaration. The soldier monitoring the feed said, "Incoming message. It is to broadcast all galaxies." A large screen lit up in the council hall again. The same human commander appeared. His calm silver eyes looked directly into council, as if he could see them through the screen. He spoke clearly, every word sharp like a blade. "For 2 centuries, we watched your council rule this galaxy with arrogance." The council members stiffened. "We warned you long ago what humanity could become. You ignored that warning. You believed we would remain small, weak, simple." His expression did not change. "You were wrong." A chilling silence followed. The camera behind the commander zoomed out to show the human fleet. Endless rows of massive ships glowing with abyss energy. They looked like dark giants waiting to be unleashed. The commander continued, "We left this galaxy not to flee. We left to evolve, to understand powers you never dared to touch. The abyss gave us knowledge, strength, unity." Zarnax whispered to himself, "Abyss? They used the abyss? Impossible." The abyss core was a legendary cosmic phenomenon, something no species dared to study directly. It twisted matter, bent energy, and swallowed entire worlds. No one believed humans could survive near it, but they did. The commander's voice deepened. "Now we have returned. We do not seek war. We seek correction, balance." Everyone in the hall exchanged nervous glances. No one knew what correction meant. The commander's hologram suddenly zoomed in, filling the entire room with his face. "We begin with Phase 1. The screen went dark again. Before anyone could ask what that meant, a blinding white beam shot down from a human flagship toward Serenos Prime. It didn't strike the surface. It spread across the planet like a thin blanket of light. Alarm screamed. Council members ducked. Guardians raised shields that did nothing. The light wave passed through buildings, through technology, through machines without harming anything. But when it was gone, every device on the planet began glowing blue. A technician screamed, "Sir, the humans have taken control of our systems." Another shouted, "They locked us out. Every terminal, every ship, everything belongs to them now." Zarnax finally lost his calm. "Why? Why do they need control?" The answer came immediately. The human flagship sent a new transmission. A quiet, calm voice said, "This world is now under Terran observation. Do not resist." In the council hall, chaos exploded. Leaders began shouting at each other. What is Terran observation? Are they enslaving us? Are they preparing an attack? We must escape. But escape was impossible. Outside, a barrier of dark purple energy formed around the entire planet. A human-made shield dome. Nothing could enter or leave. The council was trapped. Zarnax tried to regain control. He slammed a hand onto the table. "Calm yourselves. Humanity has not fired a single weapon. They are not killing anyone. There must be a purpose." A younger council member yelled, "Purpose? They locked us inside a cage." Another whispered, "Maybe this is only the beginning." That idea froze the room. A new hologram flashed again, showing human ships spreading out across nearby star systems. Every planet they approached fell under the same light wave. Every machine they touched turned blue. Human control, human dominance. Not a single shot fired, not a single life taken, but absolute power displayed. Zarnax finally said, "We must talk to them. We must beg for understanding." But before he could call for communication, the screen lit up once again. This time, the human commander was not alone. Another figure stood beside him, a woman wearing a radiant suit of silver light. Her eyes glowed even brighter than his. She said, "Council of Serenos Prime, you once denied our right to exist. You pushed humanity into the darkness." Her voice was like cold fire. "But in the darkness, we discovered the abyss. And it changed us. Now Phase 1 is complete." Zarnax felt his hands go numb. "Complete? What does that mean?" The woman stared at him through the screen. It means the galaxy belongs to humanity again. The hologram vanished. The hall went silent. Then the floor began to shake. A deeper rumble spread through the sky. Human ships moved into formation, and a new line appeared on every screen. These words flashed across every screen on Serenos Prime, across every ship, every station, every device in orbit. The energy dome around the planet glowed brighter, creating a giant sphere of purple light that pulsed slowly like a beating heart. Inside the Galactic Council Hall, panic grew. No one understood what Phase 2 meant, but everyone felt the fear growing deeper, like something cold sinking inside their bones. Zarnax looked around the room. Leaders were shaking, arguing, whispering. Some stood frozen. Others tried to contact their fleets, but all communications remained dead. He raised his voice. Everyone, listen. We must stay calm. If humanity wanted to destroy us, they would have done it already. A council general snapped. Then what are they doing? Why these phases? Why cage us? Before anyone could answer, a sudden vibration shook the hall. It felt like the entire planet had taken a breath. Lights flickered. The floor trembled again. The vibration grew stronger, like a pulse coming from outer space. A screen activated automatically, showing a view of the human flagship. It was changing. Purple streams of energy wrapped around it, forming shapes, circles, symbols, fractal lines that moved like ancient runes. The ship looked alive, breathing, evolving. The young technician monitoring the sensors whispered, "Sir, the flagship is absorbing energy from its own fleet." Ships around it dimmed slightly as the flagship grew brighter. Another technician added, "They are preparing for something big." Zarnax whispered, "Phase 2. The entire hall looked up as the screen zoomed in on the flagship. A massive gate of swirling energy opened above it. Unlike the earlier gates, this one was 10 times larger and far more unstable. It crackled like a storm made of shadows and lightning, and it was pulling energy from the abyss. A scientist inside the hall gasped. "They are opening an abyss rift inside normal space. That is impossible. No species had ever been able to open an abyss rift without destroying entire star systems. But humanity did it calmly, effortlessly, as if they now understood every secret hidden within the universe." The rift expanded slowly, releasing dark clouds of energy that spread like smoke across the stars. A hologram activated again. The human commander appeared, standing calmly inside his command chamber. Behind him, the abyss rift swirled like a black sun. He spoke with a voice that carried no emotion. "Galactic Council, Phase 2 has begun. This is the stage where we prepare the galaxy for our return." Zarnax forced himself to speak. "Human commander, why are you doing this? What is your goal?" The commander looked directly at him. "We are stabilizing the galaxy." A council general shouted, "By caging planets? Taking control of our systems." The commander did not blink. "Your systems were weak, corrupted, divided. You cannot rule a galaxy when you cannot even control it." He lifted his hand slightly. A new hologram appeared beside him, showing a map of the galaxy. Several sectors glowed red. "These are unstable regions. You ignored them. You allowed chaos to grow. Pirates, warlords, rogue empires." He pointed at another glowing zone. "This cluster has been collapsing for decades. You promised to fix it. You never did." The hologram expanded to show a third region. "And this area is dying. 5 planets losing atmosphere. You offered no help." Zarnax stared at the images, unable to deny them. The council had failed many places, but no one expected humanity would be the one to return to correct things. The commander continued, "We will restore order. We will fix what you refuse to fix. But before that, we must reshape the galaxy." He paused. "And for that, we need the abyss." The screen flickered, showing the rift again. The dark energy around it spread farther into space, forming long tendrils that connected to different human ships. These tendrils pulsed like veins, carrying energy from the abyss to the fleet. One of the council technologists gasped. "They are powering their entire fleet with the abyss rift. No species has ever controlled abyss energy like this. It's unreal. The commander looked calm, almost attached. The abyss gave us knowledge. Now we will use that knowledge. Another figure stepped beside the commander, the same woman from before. Her silver eyes glowed brighter than the energy around her. She said, "Your council led the galaxy with fear and weakness. Humanity will lead it with strength and unity." Zarnax raised his hand. "Please, why trap Serenos Prime? Why shut down our weapons? Why block us from the stars?" The woman slowly approached the camera. "Because Serenos Prime is the heart of the council. If the heart stays still, the galaxy stays still. We cannot let you interfere." The hall fell silent. Then the woman said something that shook everyone. "Phase 2 prepares a galaxy. Phase 3 will change it." A council ambassador asked, shaking, "What is Phase 3? But the screen switched off before she could answer. The hall erupted in fear again. What will they change? Are we targets? Is this a takeover? What will happen to our worlds? Zarnax tried to calm them, but another tremor shook the building. The lights dimmed. A deep humming sound spread across the sky, vibrating through the entire planet. A new message flashed. Abyss calibration in progress. Technicians monitored readings. Sir, Abyss energy is spreading across the system. It's stabilizing space-time. Weight gravitational waves are shifting. The planet shook again. The energy dome around Serenos Prime brightened, becoming nearly transparent. Inside the dome, particles of purple light swirled like tiny stars. Sir, a technician whispered, they are preparing to reshape the system. Zarnax felt real fear now. Reshape how? Suddenly, another hologram appeared. Not from the humans, but automatically triggered by the energy. It showed the planetary orbit shifting, stabilizing, realigning. A new voice came to the comms, smooth, cold, and undeniably human. This system will serve as a new center of galactic balance. The Abyss will correct your mistakes. The vibration grew stronger. The dome intensified. The sky darkened. The ground trembled. Across space, more human ships moved into formation like pieces of a giant machine. Every screen on the planet displayed the final warning. Phase 3 restructure. The hall shook as shock waves of energy rippled through the atmosphere. People fell to the ground. Walls cracked. Lights exploded. The galaxy had no idea what humanity was about to do. But everyone understood one thing clearly. There was no turning back now. Phase 3 had begun. These words spread across the galaxy faster than light. Every race, every empire, every small colony received the same message. Many tried to contact the Galactic Council for answers, but Serenos Prime was still locked inside the human dome, trapped and isolated. Inside the council hall, the ground trembled again as more energy waves spread to the planet. The purple particles floating in the sky began forming patterns. Circles, symbols, and lines with shapes no one recognized. A council scientist stared at them in fear. These symbols, they look like abyss equations. Humanity is rewriting our system's physics. Zarnax felt sweat forming on his glowing skin. To what purpose? The scientist whispered. To reshape this entire star system. The hall grew silent. Outside, the human fleet formed a ring around the abyss rift. Ships positioned themselves with perfect precision, as if following a pattern drawn by some higher intelligence. The flagship moved to the center of the formation, glowing like a dark star. A loud hum filled the air. The sky above Serenos Prime turned completely purple. Lightning like tendrils of energy danced across the dome. A technician shouted from the sensors, "Sir, our sun is reacting." The large display showed the star at the center of the system. Its surface was rippling, brightening, glowing with unnatural light. "They are stabilizing the star," the technician said. "No, wait. They are correcting its rotation. They're adjusting it." Zarnax felt numb. "They are changing the star itself." Before anyone could recover from the shock, another transmission came from a human commander. His face appeared again, calm and emotionless. "Galactic Council. Phase 3 requires large-scale correction. Your system is the first." Zarnax forced himself to speak. Why? Why are you doing this? What is the purpose? The commander stepped aside. The woman with the silver eyes appeared again. Her presence was cold and powerful. She said, "Your star was dying slowly. Your council ignored warning signs for a century. We cannot allow the galaxy's central system to collapse." Zarnax whispered, "You plan to fix our star?" The woman nodded. "Yes, and more." The commander spoke again. "Your planets are misaligned. Your orbital paths are unstable. Your atmosphere loses strength each year. You ignored all of this." A hologram projected the entire system. Every planet, every orbit, every imbalance. It looked like a broken wheel on the edge of collapse. "We will restructure the system," the commander said. "We will make it perfect." A council general shouted, "We do not give you permission to alter our worlds." The woman's eyes glowed. "Permission is irrelevant. Correction is necessary." Before anyone could argue, the room shook violently. The large screens displayed a real-time image. The human fleet fired beams of purple and silver energy into space. The beams did not destroy anything. Instead, they formed long chains of light connecting planets to the Abyss Rift. The chains tightened and pulled gently, adjusting the positions of moons and planetary orbits. The entire system was moving. A full star system was being adjusted like a puzzle piece, and humanity was doing it effortlessly. A technician screamed, "Planetary drift detected. We are moving closer to the system center." Another yelled, "Tidal forces rising. Gravity fields changing." Zarnax shouted, "Stabilize the council hall." But nothing could be done. Only the human dome kept the planet from tearing apart. Outside, the people of Serenos Prime ran to the streets as the sky cracked into swirling purple storms. Towers shook, oceans rumbled, mountains vibrated like they were alive. But still, nothing was being destroyed. Everything was being reshaped. A new message appeared. Phase 3. System restructure at 40%. Zarnax stared at it. "They are not attacking. They are rebuilding." Another council member spoke, trembling. "But why? Why help us after everything we did to them?" The commander appeared again to answer. "Because your failure hurts the galaxy. Weakness spreads. Chaos grows. Humanity will not allow your mistakes to continue." He looked directly at Zarnax. "We do this because we can." The hologram vanished. Suddenly, a loud alarm shook the hall. The screen showed a nearby sector, one of the smaller alien empires known as the Vrax Dominion. Their ships were leaving their territory. A sensor officer shouted, "The Vrax are mobilizing. They are heading toward our system with full force." Another added, "They believe humanity is weak during restructuring. They want to attack Serenos Prime." Zarnax felt panic rise. "We must warn the humans." But he stopped, because the human commander appeared on screen again, without being called. "We know," the woman beside him added. "We allow them to come." The council gasped. "Allow them? They will attack us." The commander turned slightly. "No, they will attack us." The screen switched to show the Vrax fleet. It was huge, thousands of ships armed with high-powered weapons, moving in tight formation. They fired their first barrage from far away. The energy blast shot directly toward the human flagship. And then the galaxy witnessed something terrifying. The human flagship did not dodge. It did not shield. It did not even move. The blast hit it and disappeared, completely absorbed. Not even a scratch. Zarnax whispered, "Impossible. Nothing can absorb that much energy." The commander spoke calmly over the broadcast. "Phase 3 requires proof of power. The galaxy must understand." The human flagship released a pulse, a soft wave of purple light. It looked harmless, but the moment it touched the Vrax fleet, ships vanished, matter dissolved, engines melted, weapons evaporated. The entire Vrax armada disappeared in less than 3 seconds. Zarnax fell silent. The entire council froze. No one could breathe. The human commander finally said, "Phase 3 continues. Interference will not be tolerated. The screen faded. Outside, the system kept shifting, planets moving into perfect alignment as humanity's power rewrote the stars themselves. Inside the hall, the final message appeared. Phase 3, 60%, and rising. No one dared to speak, because now the truth was clear. Humanity wasn't just powerful. Humanity was unstoppable. Those glowing words floated above every device on Serenos Prime. No one dared to blink. No one dared to speak. The entire planet felt like it was sitting inside a giant machine, and humanity controlled every moving part. Outside, the sky had turned almost completely purple. The energy dome around the planet hummed like a living creature. Every time the hum pulsed, the ground vibrated under their feet. The system restructuring continued, steady and unstoppable. Inside the council hall, the tension grew heavier with every passing second. A council ambassador finally whispered, "They destroyed an entire Vrax fleet with one pulse, one single wave." Another ambassador added, "And they did it without even aiming, without effort." Every council member looked toward Zarnax. He was the only one who still tried to stand strong, though his hands were shaking slightly. He spoke slowly, trying to calm the room. "Humans are not here to kill. If they wanted to destroy the system, they would have done it long ago. Their target was the Vrax, not us." But no one truly believed his words. A technician monitoring the sky cried out, "New movement in space. Human ships. They are spreading farther into galaxy." Everyone watched as the display zoomed out to the greater star map. Human ships were simultaneously appearing in multiple sectors, not attacking, but placing devices, small, spherical machines glowing with the same abyss energy. "What are those?" a general asked. The technician scanned them and said, "Abyss stabilizers. They are correcting space-time across entire regions. It's like they are fixing broken parts of the galaxy." A council scientist added, "This is beyond us, beyond anything we can do. Humanity is remaking the galaxy like a craftsman fixing a broken tool." Zarnax muttered, "This is not war. This is a rebuild." But then another alarm rang. "Sir, refugees arriving from Sector 7. The screen showed ships fleeing from a collapsing empire. Their world were falling apart due to natural disasters. Storms, quakes, magnetic collapses. They begged for help, crying that they had nowhere else to go. Zarnax felt his heart tighten. "We must help them." But the council general shook his head. "We cannot. Our systems are locked. Humans control everything." A hush fell over the room. Then slowly, the fleeing ship stopped mid-space. Everyone stared. "Sir," a sensor officer whispered, "the humans, they halted the refugee ships." A human cruiser appeared in front of them. Its hull glowed with soft purple lines. Instead of attacking, it released a gentle wave of energy. The refugee ships were repaired instantly, broken engines restored, cracked hulls sealed. Then food supplies, water capsules, and medical pods teleported directly onto their ships. The hull gasped. The technician murmured, "They're helping them. They're saving them." Another message appeared. "Human directive. Protect and restore." Zarnax whispered, "They are saving entire civilizations." But before anyone could feel relief, the sky above Serenos Prime shifted again. A deep roar rolled through the atmosphere. The purple particles above the dome twisted into a spiral. A new hologram activated. This time not from the commander or the woman. It was automatic. It showed a huge network of human ships forming a massive ring in space. They were constructing something. A megastructure. A colossal one. "What is that?" Zarnax asked. A scientist scanned the shape and felt his knees weaken. "It's a spatial anchor. They're going to stabilize the entire system permanently. It will become the most stable region in the galaxy." Another added, "This thing will make Serenos Prime the new center of the galaxy." Gasps filled the hall. It began to make sense. The dome, the restructuring, the star adjustments, the orbital corrections. Humanity wasn't breaking anything. They were making Serenos Prime perfect. A new transmission came from the human flagship. The woman with silver eyes appeared again. Her expression was calm, but her presence felt as heavy as a star. She said, "The galaxy will no longer drift into chaos. We will rebuild everything you failed to protect." Zarnax finally asked a question that everyone feared. Why us? Why Serenos Prime? Why make this system the center of your new order? The woman's silver eyes glowed brighter. Because this is where the council ruled. This is where your decisions shaped the galaxy. This is where your mistakes began. She stepped closer to the camera, and this is where correction must begin. A heavy silence filled the hall. The commander appeared beside her. "Humanity does not seek revenge," he said. "We seek balance." One council member yelled, "Balance? You destroyed the Vrax fleet." The commander replied calmly, "They attacked us. They broke stability. They threatened to restructure. We removed the threat." Zarnax spoke again, softly. "What happens after restructuring?" The room waited. The commander stared at the screen for a long moment before answering. "After Phase 3 comes Phase 4. A council general trembled. "What is Phase 4? The woman answered, "Order." Before the council could respond, the dome around the planet flashed white. A new wave of energy pulsed across the surface, gently lifting objects a few centimeters into the air before settling everything back down. The display updated. Phase 3, 80%. The system was nearly fully reshaped. Outside the hall, people gathered on rooftops, staring at the bright purple sky. Many were terrified. Some were praying. Others were simply speechless. But for the first time, some people felt something strange. Hope. Zarnax noticed it too. Even the younger council members whispered, "Maybe humans are saving us. Maybe they know what we never could. Maybe this is not the end, but the beginning." But then a new alarm blared. A different one. A warning level no one had ever seen. A sensor officer screamed, "Sir, a massive anomaly is approaching the system." Everyone froze. "What kind of anomaly?" Zarnax asked. The officer turned pale. "Unknown. Bigger than the human fleet. Bigger than the Abyss Rift." The room shook violently as the anomaly's energy rippled into the system. Another message appeared on every screen. Unidentified presence detected. The lights flickered. The floor vibrated. For the first time, the humans paused. Zarnax whispered with dread, "What is coming?" Zarnax whispered the word softly. But everyone in the council hall felt the same fear. The anomaly approaching the system was unlike anything they had seen before. It was bigger than the human fleet, bigger than the Abyss Rift, bigger than anything the galaxy had ever recorded. Sensors struggled to read it. One technician cried, "Sir, the anomaly is bending space-time. It's breaking our readings." Another shouted, "Gravity waves increasing. Danger levels rising." The entire hall shook as a deep vibration rolled through the planet. The purple sky flickered. The energy dome dimmed for the first time since the humans activated it. Everyone stared in shock. Because humanity, the unstoppable, abyss-powered force, paused. A new hologram appeared. The human commander stood inside his ship, but for the first time, he looked serious. And then the woman with the silver eyes appeared beside him. Her face tense. This was the first moment the galaxy saw fear in their eyes. The commander spoke. "Galactic Council. Stay inside the dome. Do not interfere." Zarnax stepped forward. "What is approaching? Is it another empire?" The commander shook his head slowly. "No, this is not an empire." He turned to the woman, and she finished his sentence. "It is something older." A shock ran through the council hall. "Older than what?" someone asked. The woman answered with a soft but chilling voice. "Older than your council. Older than humanity. Older than the abyss itself." The hall went silent. Outside the planet, the human fleet moved into a defensive formation around the Abyss Rift. Their ships glowed brighter than before, pulling more and more power from the abyss, like warriors preparing for a final battle. Zarnax watched the feeds. "Can you stop it?" The commander did not answer immediately. When he finally spoke, His words were slow and heavy. "We will try." A wave of fear spread through the council. If humans, the strongest force in the galaxy, were unsure, then what hope did anyone else have? The technician monitoring the anomaly screamed, "It's entering the system." A tear in space ripped open. Like the universe itself being cut apart, a massive, dark shape emerged through the tear. It wasn't a ship. It wasn't alive. It wasn't dead. It was something else. Something ancient. Something wrong. The shape was made of black void and glowing cracks of white light. It twisted like smoke, yet moved with purpose. It spread across the system like a shadow consuming light. Every screen displayed the same reading. Unknown entity, origin, outside the galaxy. Zarnax whispered, an extragalactic being. The entity opened like a giant flower of darkness. A deep sound rolled across space. A low, echoing roar that felt like it came from the beginning of time. The human commander raised his hand. "All ships," he ordered. "Activate Abyss Protocol." Human ships shifted. Their hulls split into segments. Their energy cores glowed white-hot. They looked like awakened beasts. The woman spoke. "This entity feeds on chaotic systems. It senses instability. It came because of your collapsing regions, because of your failures." Zarnax felt shame fill his chest. The woman continued, "Humans predicted its arrival long ago. That is why we prepared. That is why we evolved. That is why we came back." Before the council could respond, the battle began. The entity released a wave of darkness. It spread like ink through water, swallowing stars, bending gravity, twisting light. Human ships fired beams of abyss energy, bright purple lances that tore through space. When they hit the entity, pieces of the shadow broke away, only to reform moments later. The council hall shook. The ground trembled. The screens flickered as the battle drained the system's energy. "Sir," a technician shouted, "the humans, they're losing power. The entity is feeding on their attacks." The commander appeared again. His voice was firm. "We expected this." He looked at the abyss rift behind him. Still swirling, still growing. The abyss is the only force older than that entity. We must use it. The woman stepped forward. "If we fail, the galaxy ends." A deep silence filled the room. Zarnax felt his throat tighten. "Is there anything we can do?" The commander shook his head. "Stay inside the dome. Trust us." Then the screen switched to a live view of the flagship. It moved forward alone, straight into the entity. The council gasped. "They're going to die," someone screamed. But the woman appeared again for one last message. "No, we are going to finish what we began." The flagship unleashed a massive surge of abyss energy. The entire ship glowed white, brighter than a star. Every human ship followed, releasing beams that merged into one gigantic wave. The wave struck the entity and pushed it back. For the first time, it shrieked. The sound tore through the system. Mountains cracked. Oceans split. The dome on Serenos Prime flickered violently. Zarnax gripped the table. "Hold. Please hold." Outside, the entity thrashed against a wave. But humanity pushed harder. Their ships overloaded, their energy cores burning red-hot. The woman's voice echoed across the system. "For the galaxy." And then, a blinding explosion. Purple, white, black. Light swallowed everything. The council hall blacked out. The planet shook violently. Walls collapsed. Screens shattered. And then, silence. When the light slowly returned, the sky had changed. It was blue, normal, clear. The purple dome was gone. The abyss rift had disappeared. The entire system looked calm, more stable than ever before. A new message appeared. Phase 3 complete. Then another line. Entity neutralized. The entire hall erupted in relief. Some cried. Some collapsed. Some simply stared at the sky. But Zarnax looked at the final line on the screen. Human fleet status, unknown. He whispered, "Where are they?" The technician searched desperately. "Sir, the human fleet, they are gone. Not destroyed. Not dead. Just gone. They vanished after the explosion." Zarnax stood silently. The galaxy had been saved. The system had been remade. The ancient threat was gone. But humanity had disappeared again. A final small transmission suddenly blinked onto the screen. Only one sentence. A human voice said, "We will return when the galaxy needs us again." And then the signal faded into silence. The council hall stared at the message for a long time. Humanity had saved them, reshaped everything, destroyed an ancient enemy, and disappeared like ghosts. Saraxis looked up at the calm blue sky and whispered, "Thank you, humans." But deep in space, far beyond the newly stabilized galaxy, a faint purple light flickered, proof that humanity was watching and preparing for whatever came next.